What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chuds BBQ. My name is Bradley Robinson, and today I'm going to show you how we made this. Beautiful, delicious, smoky, beefy, tender, amazing LeRoy and Lewis style flat iron with Evan.
Coming up.
Coming up. This is some meat. Pat them dry. And what I've got here is a couple of top blade roasts, which is essentially 2 flat iron steaks that have yet to be butchered down into individual steaks. We've got that nice thick sinew running between them. But just look at that beautiful marbling on there. Nice deep red meat. And this is exactly what we need for today's cook. And that's because today we are finally tackling the long requested LeRoy and Lewis flat iron. And the reason I haven't done this video yet is because it's been pretty tough to find a top blade roast. And I thought about going to the restaurant depot and picking up a whole shoulder clod and breaking that down and showing that whole process. But unless you have a restaurant supply store around, finding a whole shoulder clod is kind of difficult as well. Not to mention they're gigantic, pretty expensive because of how huge they are, and you have a lot of trim on hand, and it just doesn't seem like the most practical thing to do for the home cook. But then a few months back, I decided to reach out to my friends at Porter Road, who does a lot of in-house butchery, and ask them if they could pull a couple of top blade roasts out of the cow so we could make this new famous cut of barbecue and also make it a little more available to the people at home. And I gotta say, they did an absolutely fantastic job. These look beautiful. Got a little dry age flavor on there, pretty decent fat cap. But truth be told, the flat iron at LeRoy and Lewis came after my time, so I've never actually cooked one before. But luckily, I've got a good buddy who knows a lot about them. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Evan LeRoy from LeRoy and Lewis.
Howdy,
Evan,
folks.
welcome back to the channel. It's been a minute.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Now, you've got your own YouTube channel, which everyone should definitely go subscribe to if they haven't.
Right now.
If you go back in time, there's a lot of me on there too, so it's like bonus Chud content. Yeah. But on your channel, you've got probably your best video ever is your flat iron video.
Yes.
Where you go into extreme detail about how you came up with it, the whole process, and then you know, the history and all that. So for people that haven't seen that video yet, but they're going to go watch it after this, will you give us a brief little rundown of how the flat iron came to be?
Sure. So coming from the food truck, we realized that the beef cheeks were kind of like a signature thing. They were definitive of what we were trying to do at the food truck, of trying to come up with a new barbecue cut, and then we wanted something definitive of the new restaurant. So me and Cole kind of set it out to make it our mission to try to once again come up with like a new barbecue cut. And to do that, we basically looked to the old school and looked to what kind of used to be done and see if there was any way we could update it. And we took this cut of the shoulder clod, we took the different muscles, we cooked them individually, we cooked it together, we cooked it at different times and different rubs and everything. Cooked a bunch of other cuts too, but we finally settled on this top blade because it is marbled, it has a really nice band of connective tissue in the middle that breaks down, it's got a fat cap on top. You can barbecue it in the Texas style and it tastes akin to something like brisket, beef cheek, short rib, you know, that really nicely broken down sliceable texture, that rendered fat, that crust, that smoke. That's what you want.
It really is a beautiful cut.
Yeah.
Looking at it. Was the flat iron the one that like was created by scientists or something? You ever heard that story?
Yeah, I don't know about scientists, but I do know that it is a more modern steak cut. And I think that some people did set out to come up with a new like steak cut.
Yeah,
right?
which is funny to think about.
Yeah.
I remember hearing like someone got paid like $1 million to find the next new
Something
cut,
like that, yeah.
and they came up with the flat iron steak. And then fast forward another couple of years, it's the top blade roast in barbecue form. Very cool.
Right.
It really is a beautiful cut of meat too. And one of my favorite parts about this for the home cook, now that it's available, is it's a lot smaller than a brisket. These weigh about 5 pounds coming right out of the package, as opposed to 15, 20 pounds on a brisket. So
yeah,
if you've got a smaller family to feed, or you're not trying to end up with 10 pounds of cooked beef at the end of the day, this is a fantastic option because it is similar to brisket. It's similar to a beef cheek, but it's kind of right in the middle.
Exactly. That's why it's perfect for LeRoy and Lewis.
Well, what is the first step? Do we need to do any trimming on these?
We need to do a little bit of trimming on these. This kind of piece down here, you can see it on here too. So this is our most marbled piece, right? We can see the marbling there. We can see the marbling there. That's essentially our fatty brisket. So we don't want to take any more fat off of that. The farther you go back up this muscle toward the back, you can see that huge piece of connective tissue, that huge piece of connective tissue. We're going to trim as much of that off as we can, but that is very tough as well. We're going to try to shape it a little bit. We're going to take off any excess fat. This piece might come off a little bit, but we really don't want to take off too much fat because we want to preserve the fat cap, get it crispy in the LeRoy and Lewis style, you know, put it in a foil boat. That is what's nice about these. There's not too much trimming. Okay, I'm gonna put this one to the side for Brad later, and I'm gonna trim up this one. Similar to a brisket, we're gonna look for a final shape, we're gonna look for a fat cap, we're gonna look for some straight lines but rounded corners. This is pretty thin here, and just like in a brisket, I'm gonna wanna take off some of this but not all of it. You know, really just kind of round it out so it's a nice shape. You gotta be careful on some of the flat iron trim as well. If you're taking this piece off, you can't put that into your burger grind or your sausage grind. It's not gonna be good at all.
And is that just too thick on that end to break down during the whole cooking process?
Yeah, just a little bit of this fat cap is coming off. And this stuff is not great looking fat either.
It's kind of like tri-tip fat almost.
Yeah, it's very similar.
It's kind of like stringy. Tri-tip fat is weird.
Yeah. This is a big piece that's gonna have to come off here, and almost like this, you know, the same kind of motion as a brisket. You know, you're kind of curving down with it. I don't want to do too much here. Maybe just a little thin layer.
It is interesting to think about this like a beef cheek, because you've got this pretty thick membrane under the fat cap.
Yeah.
Just like on a beef cheek, but
yeah,
it will break down and become tender if cooked properly.
It's very similar, and you know, this entire flat iron process was a learning process in the trimming and the butchering, in the like utilization of all of it, and then also, you know, in the final, you know, I don't want to spoil anything, but the finishing temperature is different than that of a brisket, you know. So if all you've ever cooked is brisket before and you just take it to a final finishing temperature for a brisket, it's not going to be that good. That's that piece you can't put in. This I'm taking my time on. I'm just about done.
So even the trimming process of a flat iron is easier than a brisket.
Much easier. And look at the, you know, the trim too. There's not very much of it. So I don't think I would do much more than that. That looks really good to me. Kind of looks like a big tongue almost. Really, you know, we didn't have to do anything on the back, which is nice. Sometimes when we get them, they have a really thick, like that piece that's right up against the inside of that shoulder is right there, and we got to trim that off. Thankfully, they took it off for us at Border Road.
And you were butchering yours in-house for a while, right? But now you're getting them.
Yeah, for a while we were, but that was, you know, you see the amount of trim here. This is coming off of like a 20-pound thing.
How's the marbling on this one compared to the ones you're cooking?
I would say similar. I think ours are maybe slightly more marbled, but this looks great.
It does look great. Very deep red color on it.
Deep.
Top blade number 2, flat iron number 2. These are pretty nice right out of the package. Backside is nice and clean. Gotta love that. Is this kind of scalpy fat cap pretty common with these?
It is, but if it's not there, then there's like this fat cap peels away very easily. So if you don't trim it down to that, it's gonna come off anyway. Some of them do have that kind of weird curvature to them. This one's a lot more straight, you know? I wonder what that is.
I think it's like a left side, right side kind of thing.
Maybe.
This is more of a beauty trim than a aerodynamic trim. I kind of like it.
Yeah, just taking a little bit off, knocking down the edges, leaving enough fat on there to keep it juicy.
See what you mean though, that looks like a piece of straight rubber.
Yeah, as much of that should come out as you can get while keeping it straight.
Chud scrape. Not really the right kind of fat for a chud scrape.
No, you're making it worse. With that kind of fat, you can almost just like keep pulling off little feathery pieces, and it'll never end.
You just got to get to the point where done is better than perfect.
That's enough.
How are we looking so far?
That looks great. Yeah, I would kind of knock back the kind of back edges. You know, normally if you're cutting this down into flat iron steaks, you got to lose a lot of that. You're going to lose some of the meat to trimming out that piece on top and that piece in the middle.
Yeah, splitting these down the middle to get that big sinew piece out.
It's really hard.
Seems very difficult.
It's really hard.
Maximize the amount of flat iron steak you're going to get, but
yeah.
Looking pretty good.
Looks good.
See what you mean though. I could kind of keep going at this all day, but I think these are looking pretty good.
Yeah, we're ready.
What's the next step, buddy?
So we pre-season our flat irons the night before we put them on in the morning. We should make a rub and pre-season them.
All right, let's make a rub. Ingredients for our rub include some 16 mesh black pepper,
Diamond Crystal kosher salt,
some granulated garlic,
granulated onion,
some paprika,
and MSG.
And that's it.
That's it.
And get that all mixed up. So what's the process here? Are we going heavy, light little dusting? What are you thinking?
We're going about medium. So we are looking for a nice coating, but we're not going to go as heavy as we would and we will on the second seasoning. Pre-season, get that penetration, and then we'll do a full season the next day for extra crustiness.
Nice. So this one's just to start building the layers of flavor.
That's right.
Did this rub take a lot of tinkering, or was it kind of just right off the bat where you wanted it to be?
I wouldn't say right off the bat, but it took a couple rounds, I would say. It was really, I mean, this is Cole right here. He's still with us.
Somewhere.
Not too much on the first seasoning. Don't forget the sides, folks. That would be a rookie move. Pre-season, ready to go, into the fridge, overnight.
24 hours later, out of the fridge these come. and they're looking positively dry brined. You can see a lot of that salt has dissolved into the meat. All that rub is stuck on there very nicely, and it actually feels a little bit stiffer too, which is a good thing. But it's at this stage at LeRoy & Lewis where they will apply their second rub, which is the LeRoy & Lewis Dalmatian, which is salt and pepper. You can pick this up online or at the restaurant, or you can make it yourself. It's just 2 parts 16 mesh black pepper to 1 part Diamond Crystal Kosher salt. And they go through a lot of this stuff at the restaurant. This is what goes on the briskets, on the beef cheeks, all sorts of stuff. So they have a big bus tub full of it at all times. And they'll just take the cheeks, the brisket, or the flat irons and just dunk it right in there. And however much sticks. But today I'm just gonna apply this by hand. But just a nice, healthy coating, folks. Really gonna help build up the bark, add a little extra saltiness because it is still a big piece of meat and it needs all the flavor it can get. Flip it over. And again, they usually dunk this, so it's impossible for them to forget the sides, but with this method, we gotta be a little more diligent. Beautiful, all seasoned up, so all we gotta do now is fire up the pit. There's a snake in my boot. And on the pit we go. Got the old offset smoker fired up with some post oak wood. And we're gonna put these in the same spot we'd put a brisket. It's actually a pretty similar process to cooking a brisket. So we're gonna start out low and slow, nice and smoky. Got a little bit of charcoal in there to generate some heat and catch that log on fire. One dense log creating a whole bunch of good smoke right now. And we're probably gonna keep it rocking around 200 degrees for the first hour or so to really make sure we get some really good color and smoke on these bad boys. And make sure everything's nice and tasty. How the flats looking so far?
I think they look pretty good. The trim on them was really nice.
Of course, at least on one of them.
Nice heavy seasoning. They're starting to take on some smoke, so they're doing exactly what we want them to do. The pit's really low right now, and we're pumping a lot of smoke on them. We want to lay down a nice thick layer in the very beginning. The idea is, I tell people all the time on the steak tours, is to bring up the temperature of the pit and the temperature of the meat at the same time, like you're cooking a potato in water.
So what's the cook process look like on this? Is it similar to a beef cheek or a brisket?
Yeah, I mean, all the stages are going to happen in a very similar fashion. So you're going to put down some smoke. It's going to get kind of a light mahogany, dark mahogany. It's going to turn brown. Then it's going to kind of turn black and start to sweat out a little bit. And then that is when we're going to put it in the foil boat. And then we cook it till tenderness. We're going to be probing with a probe to look for tenderness. We'll also look for a doneness temperature, but really the probe is going to tell us a lot. And it's different than that of a brisket, the finishing temperature that is. We're going to go a little bit lower because the muscle structure, the breakdown of the water, the protein, the collagen in there is different than that of a brisket.
So do you look for a specific temperature internally when you wrap it?
Yeah, we're kind of looking for 165 plus. We want to push out as much of the water as we can, so it's not sitting in a boat full of jus, but we want it to sit in a boat like with just enough fat in there. So we want to expel the water and get some of that fat that's rendering too.
Sounds like a good plan. So we're going to rock it around 200, nice and smoky for the first hour. Then we'll probably bump it up to 225 for another hour, then 250, and then probably level out around 275.
That's right, for the length of the cook.
Yeah, until it's time to wrap it up. Sweet. We are 1 hour into this cook, and it has been nice and smoky. I've got the damper closed down a little bit. Open that up for a little more airflow, and manipulate this log to have a little more contact with the coals. Get some flames going, and bump it up to about 225 for the next hour. And so far, they're looking pretty good. Definitely getting nice and smoky. All that seasoning is starting to tack on, but slowly start bumping the temps and keep this cooker rocking. We're about 5.5 hours into this cook, and like I said, I started out at 200 degrees for the first hour, nice and smoky. At hour 1, I bumped it up to 225. Hour 3, I bumped it up to 250. And then from hour 4 onward, it's been cruising right around 275 and just humming along. But if we look at these, I just came in about 20 minutes ago and put some foil tips on the ends to make sure the ends don't dry out too much or get too burnt or crispy. But they're looking very nice. Really good bark on there. Fat's starting to render on top. And if we take a look at the internal temp, we're about 150, 145 right at the end there, and looking nice and smoky. So we'll probably let these go for another 30, 40 minutes, and once we get up to around 160 or so, we'll probably foil boat them. And this video is in fact sponsored by Porter Road, and I love Porter Road. I've been cooking their meats for years at this point, and it's just such a convenient way to get really high quality meat delivered right to your door. But if you're unfamiliar with Porter Road, they're a butcher shop that specializes in really high quality meat. Their beef is whole carcass dry aged to improve tenderness and the taste. Their pork is some of the best pork I've ever had in my whole life. Their Berkshire and Duroc hogs raised in the forest the right way with trusted farmers and is so much better than anything you're gonna get at the local grocery store. Their chickens are also fantastic with just a lot more chickeny flavor than the commodity stuff. And if you've ever only had commodity meat from the grocery store, I highly recommend checking out some of the Porter Road stuff. It's incredibly high quality and you can taste the difference in the flavor. And they carry all the normal suspects like ribeyes and strips and fillets and all that sort of stuff. But they also carry a lot of the offcuts, the butcher cuts, that you're not gonna see too often at your local supermarket, like a hanger steak or an outside skirt, marrow bones, things like that. And of course, all the barbecue cuts, brisket, beef ribs, beef cheeks, tri-tip. And it's a lot like shopping at a local butcher. You can go on their line, order a la carte, see what they've got in stock. And speaking of butcher cuts, it's really awesome that they cut out these top blades for me because I have yet to find those anywhere else. I'm a big fan of Porter Road, love their meats, very convenient to get things shipped right to your door. Their steaks ship fresh, never frozen. Their packaging is really great as well. I've never had a broken vac seal or anything like that. And everything always arrives cold, which is great in the summers of Texas. And I can't recommend it enough. So big shout out to Porter Road. Thank you for sponsoring this video. And if you want to try their meats for yourself, click my link down below and head over to porterroad.com where using my code and link, you can save 15% off your order. Again, that's not your first order, that's any order. So if you haven't had Porter Road in a while, click my link down below and use my code to save 15% off your order. Thank you, Porter Road. We are at hour 8.5 on this flat iron cook, and this one is coming off, getting ready to wrap. Looking very nice, beautiful bark on there, smelling nice and smoky. Oh, looks great. The other one already came off about 45 minutes ago. I gave it the old foil boat, and this is rocking right around 160 to 165, depending on where you probe it, and definitely starting to get rendery. But now we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Perfect cut for the foil boat with that exposed fat cap on top. Help that render down and get nice and squishy while protecting the corners here, kind of hugging it around the thinner end and getting some extra smoke flavor on top. So back on the pit this goes. We're gonna start bumping temps between 275 and 300 until this is probing nice and tender, and hopefully it doesn't take too much longer. And just like that, after 10, maybe 10 and a half hours, off these come. Looking very good, looking very nice and barky. Definitely got some tallow in the bottom of this foil, which is a good thing. Looking at it, it might be a little too much. I might dump some of that out. But we got some really good squishy fat render, crispy bark, and actually this one came off about an hour ago. So this one cooked a little bit quicker. Might be smaller, might be where I had it on the pit, but they both came up to about 180, 185 internal, maybe 190 in the hottest part, but mostly they're just probing really tender, which is exactly what we're after. Smelling fantastic, looking briskety in their bark, and feeling them by hand and with the probe. I'm calling these done. So now I'm gonna let these rest down at room temp until they hit about 150 internal, and then pop them into the food warmer at 145, 150 degrees for a nice long heated rest. After about a 12-hour rest, out of the toaster oven these come, and they are looking and smelling really good. The whole Chud shop smells great. Very reminiscent of brisket.
Oh God.
What do you think?
Beefy. Smells so good.
Think we should slice these up?
Slice on in.
See how we did? Evan, will you do the honors?
I would love to.
How long do you rest these at the restaurant typically?
You know, we rest them overnight just like everything else. I would say they go on at 5. They come off usually around the 5 or 6 area. How long was your total cook time?
About 10 hours.
Okay. I would say ours should be about, it's 10 to 12.
Nice.
Look at the crust. It looks so good.
Crispy
You can
bark.
hear the crust. Here we go. Love this little burnt end. It's so good. So delicious.
Looks nice and juicy. Would you call this the lean side like a brisket, or does it not really work like that?
You know, so this tip is always the most marbled, but this side is a little bit bigger and has the bigger kind of tissue band in the middle there. So this one has a little bit more of that sticky gelatinous, but this side is the most marbled. So you'll start to see that band more defined as we cut further in, and the cook on this Bradley is beautiful.
That looks nice.
And you kind of want to slice it more like lean than like fatty. I always describe it as a mix between beef cheek and brisket. And you know that my favorite thing to do is not to pour the juices on top, but to just let it shimmer off that light too. Wow.
That looks incredible. Big heavy smoke ring from that super smoke mode at the beginning.
It smells so good. It smells beefier than just your brisket. It smells different than the beef cheeks because they go into the confit. Just so intense. I mean, great job. You did a fantastic job, Brad. That's so good. That's literally, I hope everybody at LeRoy and Luce is watching this. Wow.
It's really beautiful looking cut too.
The smoke on it is really good. I'm gonna just kind of cut through the whole thing so everybody can see the slices. And I'll, maybe fan those out over there. You can see that kind of fat band getting bigger. Not the fat band, but that tissue band. The slices on this, wow, perfectly cooked.
It was unique pulling a cut that's not up to 200 plus, like a brisket or a beef cheek or something like that.
Yeah, and you can see that the different muscle structure, different fat content breaks down differently. I mean, also you think about the fact that a brisket, pretty much all of the meat fibers go the same way. Mm-hmm. Look at this. If you can look closer, they're all like kind of some different sizes. They all kind of look like they go different directions too, right?
Mm-hmm. It smells smoky like a brisket, but it smells beefier.
Yes. It smells like just so intense beef. So this piece is always kind of interesting. Sometimes like if it's a little overcooked, it'll break down nicely, but if it's like perfectly cooked, sometimes it can be a little tight, but this one is gonna be good. That one's gonna be good. Then you get down to like the very end. Sometimes we'll just make some of that into chopped beef, but this is a good piece too. There you go, burn ends, whole flat iron. This is when it's maybe appropriate to give it the drizzle. At the restaurant, we'll be brushing this.
That looks incredible. Do you have a favorite bite from end to end?
I think I have a couple favorite bites, like the way that I have a couple favorite bites on a brisket. There's obviously, you want to try the burn end, you want to try like the nice first, most fatty piece, even though that's like an intense experience. I like to try, a nice middle, like first cut slice of lean that has the fatty on top. I like to try like maybe one piece or two pieces off the end of the lean. If it's trimmed really well, you get a nice fat cap. So it's the same here, to where the burn end is good, this early piece is good, the late pieces are good because they have like a lot of that kind of collagen in it. Explore.
Mm-hmm. It looks so nice.
That piece is a good piece.
Ooh.
I'm saying that about all of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. It's good.
That's very smoky. Perfect salinity on that too.
Yeah.
With the double rub situation.
Yeah. The pre-season kind of like sets it in there.
That is such a good bite of beef. I know I keep comparing it to like a brisket or a beef cheek, but it really is its own thing.
It's unique. It has a steaky quality, but
I was just gonna say that.
everybody always like says, should I get the flat iron or the tri-tip? And I'm like, well, they're just very different. Like one is cooked like a steak, the other is like a roast cooked like a piece of barbecue.
It eats kind of like a center cut lean slice of brisket, but it's got a little more like steakiness, a little more beefy bite to it.
Yeah.
A little more, I don't know, texture.
And then you
But
get
it's still tender.
one of these down here, and then that's gonna be just like, that's basically a beef cheek right there.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the cool thing about this connective tissue band that runs through it is it's collagen, which is now gelatin, which is what makes a beef cheek so ridiculously tender.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a cheeky bite.
Sticky, unctuous, gelatinous deliciousness.
It's so good. Even these, just like straight up centerpieces have everything. They have like that nice big band in the middle. This is also a really good size for a fold over.
Oh, yeah. Glistening, barky, and it's not too rich.
No.
Which is great. It's got a fat cap on there, which is great, but look, it's just so moist without being as fatty and intense as like a piece of fatty brisket.
Yeah.
That is very good. I can see why it's become so popular.
Oh, I love barbecue.
Yeah, no complaints about that cook.
Bravo.
Pretty straightforward, pretty easy.
Did a great job.
So good. So barky. And the nice part about a flat iron, we probably said it earlier, is if you're feeding a smaller crowd, this is probably what, 3 pounds of meat total?
Yeah.
As opposed to 7 or 8 if you did a whole brisket. So there's that, although it did take about the same amount of time as a brisket, so.
Just about. It's fun and different. I would say like if you've cooked plenty of briskets, if you're like looking for something new, like that was kind of the origin of this. We were looking for something new and interesting and challenging, but also that we could fit into the way that we already cook barbecue.
Right. And unless you actually experience it, it's hard to describe how unique it is.
Yeah.
Because if you're just seeing this on the internet, it's like, okay, you cook something like a brisket, right?
Right.
Like you see people doing pecanias like a brisket, tri-tip like a brisket, but this, it just eats so different, yet it's quite similar.
It's so good.
What's up, Adam?
Hey, what's up, boys? I'm picking up on Kosher.
What's going on?
Are we doing a LeRoy and Lewis episode?
Yeah.
Yep, finally made the flat
Made some
iron.
flat iron.
Your timing is impeccable, by the way.
I'm good at that.
Great time to just randomly walk in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm no dummy. I saw 2 giant trucks out front. I was like, I should go say hi to these guys. I was like, maybe they're cooking the gator now. I don't know.
That's another video.
Have you tried some already?
Some of this?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Get
Go
in
for
there.
it.
All right.
These are all good.
It's so crazy. Well, there goes my lunch. Just ruined my lunch.
Yeah, right. Gonna cancel that taco order from across the
It's
street.
perfect. How do you guys cook things so good?
You've had the flat iron at LeRoy Lewis before.
Of course.
How does this one compare?
It's always good at LeRoy and Lewis, but this is impeccable flat iron right here like this.
It's really good.
It's melting in my mouth.
So good.
It's crazy.
It's really nice doing a recreation episode when you tell me exactly how you do everything. It's like no guesswork involved. Same rubs,
Yep.
same wood.
I was a little snobbish at the restaurant for a while. To just get the brisket or the cheek. And then
Yeah.
one day I was going through a line and, you know, I was coming like twice a week for a while.
Yeah.
And one of the guys cutting the meat was like, dude, here, take some flat iron.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, because you're making me eat about it. And then I ate some and I was like, oh, well, this is
Okay.
also delicious.
Anytime there's smoky beef on the board, I'm a happy guy.
It's a win.
I feel like I could eat a lot more of this than straight brisket.
Yeah.
Maybe just because I'm so used to brisket, but
Yeah.
it's
All
going
right.
down.
We got to make a bunch of tacos, wrap them up in foil, take them out to the golf course.
We got to just get to know one of these golf courses that'll allow us to bring a grill out on the golf cart.
Well, I can definitely make that happen.
Yeah.
I know a bunch of the people at all the golf courses.
Perfect.
Yeah.
If you guys want to see We Brought Food to a Golf Course episode, let us know.
Yeah.
Yo.
That was so good.
It's so good. It's amazingly good.
This was so juicy and smoky. And with this very last bite of flat iron, I think it is time for the official taste test. All right, y'all, and that is it. That is how to make the famous LeRoy and Lewis flat iron at home. I highly recommend giving this one a try. You know, that really is a fantastic cut of meat that works incredibly well on the old barbecue pit. And it's familiar to Texas barbecue while bringing something new to the table that is just absolutely fantastic. It's a really straightforward cook, and I'm definitely gonna have to hop on Porter Road and order a few more of those to have on hand because that was incredible. Tasted just like the restaurant, but with a little more dry aged flavor. We were talking about it after the fact that it was a little more old school tasting, a little more beefy, and we couldn't figure out if it just got more smoke because of a smaller cooker, but then we remembered that it's from Porter Road and it is in fact dry aged, and it was absolutely fantastic. And definitely something I'll be doing again very soon. But all that being said, if you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that subscribe button. Let YouTube know by dropping a like on this video. If you give this recipe a try for yourself, be sure to tag me on Instagram at Chuds BBQ. I'd love to see what y'all are cooking. Big shout out to all the Team Chud members. Thank you for supporting this channel and allowing me to keep making all these videos. And until the next time I see you, please go cook something outside. Peace.